Welcome to the Courageous Self-Care Experience with self-care expert, embodiment coach, four-time author, and your spiritual ninja guide, Christina Marlette. This is your go-to show for high-achieving, spiritually curious women who are done with burnout, over the hustle, and ready to feel fully alive and energized. You'll get a powerful mix of soulful wisdom, rebellious truth bombs, and energy practices that actually work. So now, please welcome the host of the Courageous Self-Care Experience, Christina Marlette.
Hi, I'm your host, Christina Marlette, and this is the Courageous Self-Care Experience streaming on Bold Brave TV. We're on multiple platforms, and you can find replays of the show if you miss us live on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and most major streaming platforms. All right, so let's dive in today. I'm excited to share a number of different things with you, all around the theme of courageous self-care. So, first of all, I have a life update for you. I just got back from Panama. I co-hosted a yoga, wellness, and healing retreat. Perfection. I had never traveled that far south before, and every part of it was an adventure. The connections of flights took quite a lot to get down there, and the holding space for 10 amazing women who had such significant transformations. At the end of the week, they talked about how they felt so safe. And some of them had never actually felt safe among women before. It was such a supportive community. And some highlights were that we went on a couple of adventure days. So we went trekking in a rainforest just beyond the little mountain town of Boquete. And we saw, quetzals are magical, mystical birds that live both in Costa Rica and Panama. I heard that Panama is like Costa Rica used to be, so less tourists and much undiscovered. So we were hiking along. We had an amazing tour guide. And at one point she said, "Look, listen." And we saw a quetzal bird. They are magnificent. If you've never seen one, I'd never heard of them until I went there. But they have a bright red chest, and then they have iridescent blue and green leaves, and their tails, the males have tails that look like two blue ribbons floating down. And we saw not one, not two, but six quetzals, and they were calling to each other, males and females. And the guide said, "I have never seen this before." And she did 3 treks a day. So that was pretty cool. And I just said, wow, we're a powerful group of women here. And then the other adventure day, we went island hopping. So we got on a boat with 2 captains and 2 guides and rowed across the ocean for 20 minutes and got to this deserted island. If you've ever seen Castaway with Tom Cruise, that's what it was like. It was just this beautiful beach and no humans and beautiful palm trees. So we hung out there for a couple of hours, and Manleo, our guide, made us fantastic snacks. And not only did he make us snacks, he set up the table with a tablecloth and decorated it with seeds and pods and foliage from the island. So that was amazing. And then we went to another island, and he prepared lunch for us and set up tropical foliage to decorate it. There's photos on my Instagram account if you would like to see some images of that. And my account is Christina Marlette. And then the other thing, and then we had lunch, and it was the most amazing Panamanian lunch. And then we went to another island, and that one was more of a party island. And so there were boats and people and music playing, and it was just amazing. And then every day we did yoga in the yoga shala overlooking the jungle. And there were butterflies flying around and hummingbirds and howler monkeys in the distance. I never heard howler monkeys before. They're quite scary to look at, but their sound is very entertaining. So all in all, it was a magnificent trip. We decided, my two co-hosts, we decided to do it again next year. And I want to go back just for the magical massage that I got. It was so amazing. Some women were actually contemplating extending their trip to see if they could get another massage. It was that good. All right, so that was, if you want to read more about it, I write a Substack article every week, and I've got a few articles in there about the Panama trip as well, and that is on the Courageous Self-Care Substack. All right, so let's go into our timely teaching. If this is your first time tuning in, we're going to have a timely teaching. We're going to have an embodied energy flow practice. I'll answer a question. If you have a question, you can call in as always. And I also take questions by email. So I've got one of those ready just in case. And then I'm sharing a self-care practice from around the world. And then we'll wrap up with our aligned actions for the week. All right, so the timely teaching that I would like to share with you is a practice I uncovered, developed, discovered many years ago. I was in a little shop that I love, a little card shop, stationery shop, and I saw a magnet that said, "Yay me." And I had to have it, and I didn't know why. But I purchased this magnet, and I wondered, what is this "Yay me"? What does this mean? And so out of that, I developed this practice. So the important thing to know is, I talked about it a few episodes ago, the universe it vibrates as celebration. It vibrates as delight and joy and enthusiasm, all of these expansive feelings. That's what the universe is made up of. So when we are in a vibrational match to those frequencies, life is so much easier. It's smoother, there's more grace. We're able to go with the flow like we were requested to do so many times in Panama. And life is just better. So how do we get into that vibration? You know, the vibrations that so many women feel, especially highly productive, high achieving women, they're not a match for the vibration of the universe, like the energies of guilt and shame and exhaustion and overwhelm. That's not how the universe functions, not at all. And if you consider the ones that I've already said, joy, enthusiasm, delight, passion, and so on, that's how we want to feel more of the time. And that's why we feel compelled to, not strive isn't quite the right word, but that's why we're called to experience, like, we want to be happy, we want to be content, we want to feel fully alive. And that's by design. That's because we're part of the universe, like we are the universe, and that's how we're meant to feel. So how can we do that on a regular basis? Well, the Yay Me is my solution. So this little practice is fun, it's free, it's fast, it's easy, and I found that it changes absolutely everything. So it's called the Yay Me. You don't need a magnet to do it, although I am considering making some, and maybe some shirts too, down the road. So the practice of the Yay Me, it's about self-acknowledgement. And as a whole, like especially on this retreat, I met a sampling of women. We had 10 participants, and they reminded me of how I used to be. So lots of what we were sharing in terms of information and guidance was new to them, just like it had been to me a few decades ago. I didn't know about celebrating myself. I didn't know about acknowledging myself, but man, it is so important that we do. First of all, because it feels good. Secondly, because we want to be in alignment with the universe. Thirdly, because how you treat yourself echoes out into how others will treat you. So if you are filling yourself up first and you're not depending on other people to make you feel a certain way, if you are showering yourself with an abundance of praise and love, it's not vain, it's not narcissistic, none of that. No, it is imperative. And then guess what? You don't need other people to fill you up. you already are experiencing all these things that you want. This is taking ultimate responsibility. We're responsible for how we feel. We can't put that on other people. That's too much to ask. So when we fill ourselves up first, we teach other people how to treat us. And what I've noticed in my experience is that when we fill ourselves up first, we will become a vibrational force. And that's what we're putting out. If you're putting out fullness and celebration and delight and joy, you will get more of that coming back to you, because at a quantum level, that's how everything works. Like attracts like. So the yay me, this is where it all starts. And it couldn't be more simple. You might need to get over your ego. The ego can So I think there's a misperception of, sometimes the people think that the ego is about being big-headed and being too much. And yeah, that's one side of it, but the ego can also trick you into being too small and not celebrating yourself. That's just as egotistical as the other version. When I heard that, I thought, oh gosh, that resonates. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be egotistical in the way that makes me small. Absolutely not. So the yay me. I like to practice the yay me for big things and little things, and especially little things, because they can often go unnoticed by both ourselves and others. So I might, sometimes when I get out of bed, I just say, yay me, I did it. I won the day, already off to a great start. And it lifts my energy. I feel more vibrant and enthusiastic. And then throughout the day, I look for as many opportunities to give myself a yay me as possible. So sometimes it's big, yay me, and you do want to get your body involved, because if you just think it, it's not as powerful. If you bring your body on board, it becomes a whole energetic experience. So it might be the big yay me, it might be a little fist pump, yay me, like I got myself to go for a walk, yay me. Or sometimes I give myself a pat on the back, yay me, I did the dishes even though I didn't feel like it. I get lots of yay me's for doing things that I didn't feel like doing. That's another trick of the ego. My ego, I notice, loves to say, I'll do that later, or I'll do that tomorrow, or I don't really feel like it. Those are tricks of the ego. The ego its only purpose is to keep things the same, because the same is predictable. The ego's greatest fear is the unknown. So we do not want to be tricked by the ego. And what I've noticed is, by doing these yay me's, that inner critic over time has turned into an inner cheerleader, and it cheers me on. Especially when there are things that I don't necessarily feel like doing, I will do it for a yay me, and I'm giving myself the yay me. So it's just this amazing full circle experience. So I want you to consider, what is something that you have done in the recent past, maybe in the last few hours, maybe in the last day. What is something that you've done that you could yay me about? And like I said, it does not have to be a big thing. It can be tiny. It can be, oh, I put away my pajamas. Yay me! Winning at life. Or it could be something very significant. So like a couple of years ago, we took the time to change bank accounts. Whew, that was a big yay me. It took almost a year to get everything transferred over. And you can bet when it was finished, I gave myself a big yay me. So my vision is that people all over the world are yay meing all day long. Can you imagine how great the world would be if that is how we functioned? If we yay me'd as often as we deserved it, which is all the time, oh, the world would just be such a great place. Because again, like I said, we're not counting on other people to fill us up. And the thing is, when you fill yourself up, you will get so much more accolades and praise and recognition, and you don't even need it. That's been my experience anyways. I used to do things to get recognized, and if I didn't, then it was devastating, and I'd have daggers in my heart and cry so many tears. And what I realized is, oh, I'll just give myself what I thought I needed from that other person. Often it's a yay me. And then I do get the things that I thought I needed, but I don't need them anymore. It's just icing on the cake. So the yay me, I highly recommend you start practicing it and bring it into your life as often as you can. All right, so that is our timely teaching for today. We're now coming up on a sponsor break. I'm your host, Christina Marlette. This is the Courageous Self-Care Experience on Bold Brave TV. We'll be right back after a short word from our sponsors.
Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Christina Marlette. This is the Courageous Self-Care Experience streaming on Bold Brave TV and replays on any other platform that you love to listen to. All right, so we have done, I did a life update and we did our timely teaching, and now we're going to move into our embodied energy flow portion. So the reason I include this is because everything is about embodiment. And in our bodies, we're made up mostly of space at an atomic level. When we have contracted thoughts, those contracted thoughts actually contract the space available, and the body will follow suit. And there's less and less space for the things I was talking about before: joy, delight, contentment, peace, celebration. That is when it's contracted, we don't have as much room for that. And so when we practice embodied energy flow and embodiment, we open up and create more space. The body becomes more spacious. We have more room for these vibrations that we want to feel more of, and life gets better and better. So life is about embodiment. We have a body for a reason. And so I like to share practices that are about embodiment because it makes all the difference in the world. As my mentor, Dr. Sue Morter, says, we don't need to seek enlightenment. We're already made of light on a level that most people can't see. We're just made of light. So it's not about becoming more enlightened. It's actually about becoming embodied and learning how to make space for that light to flow through our system. That's when we have ultimate health, vitality, an overflow of energy and exuberance, and life just gets better and better. So let's go into today's practice. On the last episode, I shared about central channel breathing, which is the single most powerful practice I've ever been gifted to learn. And I gave you a beginner's version of it. So we're going to review that. If this is your first time tuning in, I definitely recommend heading back over to last episode to hear more about central channel breathing. Today we're going to, this is your first time, it's okay. You'll still get the gist of it. So central channel breathing, we're focusing on this column of light that resides at the core of your being. It's like a fluorescent light tube that extends from 2 feet overhead right down to 2 feet below you in the earth. and it is made of light. The energy of this central channel is bliss, and it is your energy. So whenever our attention is off of this central channel, also known as the Sushumna in Ayurvedic teachings, which is the study of living your best life from ancient India. It is the philosophy and science of whole and full living. So when our attention is off of the central channel or the Sushumna, our energy gets dispersed and scattered, and we don't feel full. We don't feel like ourselves. We don't feel powerful or empowered. We are scattered and dispersed. And that is how most people live most of the time. I didn't know about the central channel for the longest time. And now that I know about it, I feel so much more gathered. I feel so much more of who I am. And so a quote from Dr. Sue is, there can be no transformation without conscious breath. Conscious breath is the key. And bringing the mind onto the breath as it moves up and down through the body in this central channel is everything. And when I first heard that breathing could change everything, I didn't even understand what that meant. But now that I've practiced central channel breathing for multiple years, I totally get it. Life becomes more graceful. Everything softens, including the mind. I used to be so rigid and hard. I didn't know what feminine energy was or what it meant. And so everything has softened. And when Dr. Sue said that that would happen, I didn't even know why I would want that or what that meant. But now that things have softened, so much better. So this is all new to you. You can take my word for it. All right. So central channel breathing, the initial premise of it is that we're using the mind to follow the breath through the body. So you imagine where the breath is going up and down through the body. So the first thing is to bring your attention to 2 feet below you in the earth. And then from there, through the nose, inhale up through the feet, through the legs, through the pelvis, through the belly and the solar plexus, right up to the heart. And then you exhale, following the breath with the mind. Notice the breath or imagine it in your chest, your throat, your head, out the crown to 2 feet above, all through the nose. Then we inhale back down from overhead, through the crown, through the brain, through the throat, into the heart. And then exhale down through the core, through the pelvis, down the legs, out the feet, into the earth. You can do it standing, you can do it sitting. If you were sitting on the ground, you wouldn't go through the legs necessarily. You just go right up through the tip of the tailbone into the pelvis and up into the heart. So let's do that again. From 2 feet below you in the earth, inhaling up through the lower body, through the pelvis, through the core, into the heart. Exhale through the upper body, all the way out the head and the crown to 2 feet above, to where you could snap your fingers if your arm was extended. And then inhale back down, imagining that you know what you're doing. The mind might not agree, but part of you knows. Into the heart, and then exhale down into the earth 2 feet below you. And then just pause, and I invite you to close your eyes unless you're driving, and notice how you feel on the inside. So you might not notice anything. You might notice feeling a little more gathered. You might notice that there's something in your core. And all of those are perfectly good experiences. All right, so that is where we got up to in the last episode. What I want to add on to today is these checkpoints. We have anchor points within the body to help show the mind where the breath is. Keeping the mind on the central channel is the most potent use of the mind because it will help amplify all of those great vibrations that we want to experience. What we focus on expands, and everything we want is in the central channel. So when we focus on the central channel and the breath moving up and down it, and we bring our attention onto sensation, like I said, life gets better and better for so many reasons. All right, so I want to give you the logistics of it. We have 4 anchor points. And they're like little spots where you can show your mind, hello, the breath is here. Hello, the breath is here. Hey, the breath is here and the breath is here. So it helps to keep you focused. If you have a mind that, like mine definitely used to be, it's improved since I started doing central channel breathing, was like a ceiling fan on turbo speed all the time, always thinking. And when we have that, we're not accomplishing anything, and especially because we're dispersing our energy. It's out and we are not as powerful and embodied. So when we bring the mind onto these anchor points and the breath moving through the central channel, the mind gets to slow down. And I don't know about you, but whenever I used to tell my mind, stop thinking, it would be like, what does that mean? How do I stop thinking? Oh no, I'm thinking. Oh no, I'm getting it wrong already. Failure. So what we need to do instead is give the mind a task. Following the breath through the body and finding these anchor points is the task. So the first anchor point is in the base of the pelvic bowl. It's the root chakra. It's squeezing all the muscles at the base of that pelvic bowl, like a Kegel, if you're familiar with that. If not, it's like squeezing all the muscles that you would squeeze if you were going to the bathroom and had to stop the stream immediately. That's what you would squeeze. So whenever the breath comes through Mula Bandha, or it's called Mula Bandha, it means root lock. Whenever the breath comes through the pelvis, you give it a little squeeze and then you release. It's just like, hello, here's the breath, and then release. So let's just play with Mula Bandha for a moment. So give a squeeze to all the muscles at the base of the pelvic bowl. If for some reason you can't mechanically squeeze them, that's okay. Just imagine that you're squeezing them and it has the same benefit. So squeeze 100%, squeeze, 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 and then let it go by about 50%, and then let it go. So it's just the tiniest little squeeze, maybe 5 or 10%. So that's the amount of squeeze. We don't want to walk around feeling all tight on the inside. It's just a little squeeze and then a release. So when the breath moves through Mula Bandha, we give that little squeeze and then release. The breath continues to travel up to the heart. Now, the heart is the second anchor point. To find this one, if you're in a position to do so, roll your shoulders up and back and down, and then squeeze the shoulder blades back down and together towards the spine. This gives you amazing posture, and even better, it opens up the heart center because we want to lead from the heart, not from the brain. If you notice people walking around, most people have a posture like this because leading with the head, and the head is misguided a lot of the time. The heart always knows the truth. So when we get to the breath in the heart, we just squeeze the shoulders back down and together, and you can keep them squeezed gently because great posture. All right, and then the third anchor point is in the throat. It's squeezing all the muscles in the throat as if you were fogging up a mirror or a window. So put your hand here in front of your face and breathe on it with an open mouth. You have to constrict the muscles in your throat in order to do that. So that's what we're doing. But when we central channel breathe, the mouth is closed for the most part. We're breathing through the nose and we squeeze the muscles in the throat. So let's just try that. On the inhale, squeeze the throat muscles. You don't notice much, but on the exhale, you'll notice a resonance at the back of the throat. So this is called Ujjayi breathing. It gives the mind something else to focus on. So again, inhale, keep the throat muscles squeezed. Close your eyes if that helps, unless you're driving. Squeeze the throat muscles. Exhale, kind of Darth Vader-y or oceanic. All right, so that's anchor point number 3. Fourth anchor point is in the center of the brain. We have 4 very important structures in the center of the brain, and they rarely get any attention. So in yogic practice, this is called your drishti. If you've done yoga, you might have heard your instructor say, choose a drishti spot. This is where your gaze is going. The point of the drishti is that we're working out the hypothalamus, the thalamus, the pituitary gland, and the pineal gland. All very important for endocrine function, hormonal function, sleeping more effectively, working with the conscious and the subconscious minds, all important. And we use a drishti spot to do that. So now, if you are in a safe place to do so, close your eyes and roll them up as if you're looking out the crown. Now keep your nose at neutral. Often the head tries to help out, but keep your nose and chin at neutral, and eyes are rolled up as if you're looking out the crown. Notice the tension behind the eyes. This is that area in the center of the brain that we're working up. And then keep the eyes closed and look down as if you're looking right down through the center of your body. Notice the tension behind the eyes. And then relax, and you can open your eyes again. All right, so we're going to put all 4 of these together into what's called a central channel breath. We're just going to run through it today, and then next week we'll revisit it and make sure that it is working for you. So bring your attention to 2 feet below you down in the earth. I'm going to say it as fast as I can. If you run out of breath before I get to that spot, not to worry, just do your best. We want to make our breath as long and slow as possible. So 2 feet below you in the earth, start to inhale up through the lower body. When you get to Mula Bandha, give it a little squeeze and release. Inhale right up into the heart. Squeeze the blades. And then squeeze the throat, exhale through the chest, squeeze so you have that resonance. Roll the eyes up, breathe out the crown to 2 feet above. Then from overhead through the nose, inhale back down through the crown, eyes roll down, squeeze the throat, breathe into the heart, squeeze the blades. Squeeze the throat, exhale, breath travels down through the core, through Mula Bandha into the earth, 2 feet below you. Let's do that once more. Inhaling up from below you, through Mula Bandha, a little squeeze and release. Inhale up into the heart, squeeze the blades. And exhale, squeeze the throat. Breath moves up through the brain, eyes roll up, breathe out the crown to 2 feet above. Inhale from overhead, eyes roll down, breathe through the throat into the heart, squeeze the blades. And exhale, Ujjayi breath, squeeze the throat, breath travels down, tracking it with the mind through the core, through Mula Bandha, down through the earth, or through the feet into the earth. So that is central channel breathing. It will change your life. So I recommend doing 3 of those in the morning before you get out of bed, 3 of them before you go to sleep, and then anytime you're waiting. If you're waiting in traffic, if you're waiting in line at the bank, if you're waiting for your phone to load or your computer to figure things out, central channel breathing, it will totally change your life. So that is our embodied energy flow. We will revisit it and add on to it. That is what I recommend as your practice for this week. All right, so we're going to head into our next sponsor break. My name is Christina Marlette. You're watching or listening to the Courageous Self-Care Experience on Bold Brave TV. We'll be right back.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back. This is the Courageous Self-Care Experience, and we are on Bold Brave TV. I'm your host, Christina Marlette. All right, so next we're going to head into our Q&A segment where I do some laser coaching or answer questions I've received by email or call in. So just before we do that, I was looking at where listeners are listening from, and I wanted to say hello to you in all the different countries. So this show is being listened to in 23 different countries right now, and I wanted to shout out to all of you. If I don't mention your name, well, maybe next time. So your country's name. So hello in the United States and Canada, Norway, Australia, Denmark, Kuwait, New Zealand, South Africa, Poland, United Arab Emirates, Australia, Bangladesh, Belgium, Colombia, Spain, United Kingdom, Ireland, Morocco, Malaysia, Bulgaria, India, Saudi Arabia, and Singapore. I think that is so cool that Courageous Self-Care is spanning the globe. So yay you for listening. Woohoo! All right. Now we're going to go into the Q&A. So the question that came in that I chose for this week is, Christina, what can I do about feeling exhausted? This is a common question. And whether you're a high achiever, a highly productive person, or you wouldn't necessarily consider yourself that way, exhaustion can be a thing. So I think I'm a great person to ask because I don't feel exhausted. As a general rule, I feel tired when it's bedtime, and that's about it. Apart from that, I have an abundance of energy. And so I love to share different ways that we can go about having that energy and keeping it flowing and abundant so that you feel great and vibrant and vital and healthy. All right, so a lot of things can contribute to exhaustion. I'm going to share with you 2 things that I find to be different from most of the information that's out there and that make a significant difference. So, number 1, exhaustion, if you think about it, I have a question for you. Would you say exhaustion is an expansive energy that's light and feels free, or is it a heavy energy? So probably you're answering heavy. It does not feel expansive to feel exhausted or tired or burnt out. Those are heavy energies. And we have been taught, at least in Western society, that heavy energies are bad and we need to get rid of them. They're a problem, means we're broken, and we need to fix it. So all of that is not true. We have 2 energies in life. We have expansion, and that is the nature of how we want to be functioning in life because, as I said before, we're part of the divine, we're part of the universe, and the universe is about expansion. It's always expanding. That's the nature of it. We're part of it. We are the universe. And thereby, there's a part of us that always wants to expand. That's the heart and the soul. In order to have this expansion, because we live on planet Earth, we also have anchoring times where we need to tune into heavier energy to gather ourselves and to pay attention to an energy center that is part of us that resides 2 feet below us in the earth. That's why we're doing central channel breathing and breathing up from the earth, because we have this earth star, as it was known in ancient Egypt, or this 10th chakra, as it's known in ancient India. And this information has been lost. If this is the first time you're hearing about the 10th chakra, it has been kept secret or just lost for a long time. So not to worry. Yay, you're hearing it now. So that's fantastic. All right. So whenever we have heavy energy, our energy system resides in our body and outside of it. So we have this energetic field that probably you've heard of. That information has not been lost. Some people can see auras or colors. That is our energetic field. You can feel other people's energetic fields as well. If you walk into a room after an argument, you can feel it. That's because of people's energy fields. So this energy field is you, and it is connected with infinite intelligence. It's wisdom. It knows exactly what would be best for you in any given moment. So if your brilliant energy is saying heavy energy, it's saying big red arrows, pay attention to the 10th chakra. Why would we want to do that? Because the 10th chakra is actually a very high frequency energy. This all comes from what I've learned through Dr. Sue Morter. It's available, through her teachings. She has a book called The Energy Codes. This information isn't in there, but I've taken all of her certifications and classes and have been certified to teach it. So it's just made the hugest difference in my life, and I want to share it with you too. So we have this energy center. It's called the 10th chakra, or the Earth Star, and it is high frequency energy. It is the energy of unconditional love. It is the energy of forgiveness. It's also the energy of your destiny. Every version of you, the most actualized version of you, is in the 10th chakra. Any answer you would ever need for yourself is in the 10th chakra. It's not in your brain. Isn't that surprising? Energetically, it resides in the 10th chakra. So if you're ever wondering, what's next for me? I just don't know. It's in the 10th chakra. And so you're going to feel heavy energy because your system is saying, pay attention down there. The answers are there. And then breathe it up and the answers will be revealed. In this 10th chakra, it is it's like the most actualized version of you. It's the happiest version of you, the most content version of you, the most joyful version of you, the most successful version of you. All of that is in this pool of golden light that most people can't see. I can't see it, but I've learned how to feel it and sense it. Everything that you want is in that 10th chakra. So when you feel heavy energy, which we've named a lot of different things, we have words like exhaustion, guilt, shame, depression, grumpiness. All of those are heavy energies. And we can really get into a story with the mind. When the mind gets into a story, it's not that helpful because it's not going down into the 10th chakra and breathing up from it. It's perpetuating usually the suffering. So if your mind starts saying, oh, I feel so sad. Well, why do I feel sad? Well, because this person said that thing. And why did they say that? And why does this always happen to me? Oh, I feel so sad. All of that is going to perpetuate your suffering. Instead, the ideal order of things is the divine spirit, the universe, God speaks to the body. That's how it works. And then the body has a sensation and it speaks to the mind. And then what we want to happen is that the mind comes back onto the body and we want to unify mind, body, and breath and do that central channel breathing. That doesn't usually happen. What usually happens is spirit speaks to the body speaks to the mind, and then the mind goes off and makes up a story. And we don't get resolution at all. And we don't transform because no conscious breath happening. So when we have this heavy energy, we want to tune into, oh, this is just heavy energy. So, I'm feeling guilty. Okay, so that's heavy energy. This is the ideal order of things. I notice heavy energy. I'm feeling guilty. I'm going to pay attention to the 10th chakra because there is something for me in that 10th chakra that is meant for me. And I'm just on the cusp of being even more actualized as the next best version of myself. So some quick strategies on what it actually means to connect with the 10th chakra. The easiest way to start off with is to feel your feet on the earth. So really press your toes into the earth, press your feet into the earth, whether you're standing or sitting and your feet are flat on the ground. We want to press into the earth. This starts to help us connect and receive information and energy from that 10th chakra. So that's option 1. It's a great place to start. Whenever you notice heavy energy, press your feet into the earth. I was teaching about this yesterday to a group of people where I'm a mindset coach, and I was talking about how when I feel grumpy, I kind of want to stomp around. And then I was reflecting on that. That's because the system is so intelligent, is trying to connect with the earth and get the energy of that 10th chakra. So if you feel like stomping around, stomp around. It's exactly what we want to do with heavy energy. All right. So feeling your feet on the earth is a great first step. Something else you can do is start to imagine and feel into a pool of golden light 2 feet below you in the earth. This is what the 10th chakra is. It's a reflection of your splendor, of your brilliance, of your magnificence. We're big, big, big beings energetically. And all of that is reflected in this pool of light that resides 2 feet below us in the earth. We want to start to pay attention to that. And so when I first heard about this is what Dr. Sue recommended as a practice. Imagine that there's this pool of golden light 2 feet below you and take it around with you as you're walking around. So you're walking around, here's this pool of golden light, it's coming with you. So you're walking and it's coming along with you. If you're driving, it's coming along with you, 2 feet below you. If you're up in an airplane or a high rise, it's still 2 feet below you. You don't have to go right down into the earth. It's just 2 feet below you. And you just start to pay attention to that. I like to go for a walk in a place where there's a lot of dogs in the park. So I imagine other people with their 10th chakras and the dogs with their 10th chakras as well. We want to tune into this 10th chakra. So just noticing that it's there and tuning into it, imagining that it's there, you're going to start to have a deeper connection with it. So that's option 2. Option 1, feel your feet on the earth. Option 2, Start to imagine this pool of golden light coming around with you. Maybe you're washing the dishes. You can feel into that. Maybe you're laying down in bed. You can go 2 feet below you and just imagine that pool of light underneath you. So that is option 2. Option 3 is the central channel breathing that we did. You want to start to gather that high frequency energy by following the breath with the mind, breathing it up, imagining. Like sometimes I'll feel like, oh, I wish I had more success. Okay, well, I know that that's in the 10th chakra. Okay, so I'm just going to start to breathe success up, and I just imagine the energy of success coming up through my lower body. Give it a little squeeze with Mula Bandha, breathing up success into the heart. Give it a little squeeze with the shoulder blades. Exhaling success, rolling the eyes up. So this is combining that central channel breath with whatever energy, whatever frequency or feeling or vibration you want to experience more of. And then inhaling success right back down into the heart, squeezing it with the blades, exhaling back down into the earth. When we're connecting with this 10th chakra in that way, maybe it's for success, maybe it's for joy, maybe it's for contentment, maybe it's for delight, whatever you want to feel more of, you can create that for yourself. It's not elusive. It's not way out there somewhere and you don't know how to get it. It's there. It's in your system already. So that would be the third option for connecting with the 10th chakra, starting to breathe intentionally, consciously up and down through that central channel so that you're gathering all of that great energy. All right. So those are 3 things you can do to work with exhaustion. Remember, it's not a problem. You don't need to fix it. You need to tune into it and embrace it and follow the guidance of your system. And that will definitely help you make the exhaustion last way less time. And also it will energize you as you start consciously breathing up and down and connecting with that 10th chakra. All right, so we're coming into a sponsor break. I'm your host, Christina Marlette. This is the Courageous Self-Care Experience on Bold Brave TV, and we'll be right back.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Mike Zorek, a 3-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a 6-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 2 fourths. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Christina Marlette. This is the Courageous Self-Care Experience on Bold Brave TV, and we have one more section left. We're going to pack in 2 things. So first of all, this is I've been doing self-care practices from around the world. And today I wanted to share another one from Ayurveda, which, like I said before, is that study of science and philosophy of right living from ancient India. And this one is short and sweet, and I've done it every day for years and years, and I love it. So it is the ancient art, I don't think it's an art, of tongue scraping. And you might wonder, really, is that a self-care practice? Oh, yes, it is. And ever since I started tongue scraping, I could not live without it. It is such an important practice, and it takes a minute maybe. So why would we want to scrape our tongue? At the back of your tongue is bacteria. And especially when you sleep at night, your body's really brilliant. It detoxifies, and the toxins end up on the back of your tongue and all over your tongue. So if you scrape your tongue, yay, you're detoxified. If you drink first thing in the morning without scraping your tongue, you're absorbing all those toxins back into your body, which, ew. So probably you'll feel motivated to start scraping your tongue. It also has a whole bunch of other benefits. So you'll have fresher breath. If you use mouthwash and you don't scrape your tongue, you're just masking the bacteria. You're coating them in fresh smelling, but they're still there. So again, gross. So definitely, if you want to use mouthwash, keep doing that, but scrape your tongue first. And then just scraping your tongue will give you much fresher breath. Also, like I said, you're removing the bacteria, and you will have a better sense of taste. Your digestion works better. So if you have digestive issues, start scraping your tongue if you're not already doing that. And it's a great immunity booster because you're not absorbing those toxins back into your body. And it activates your organs. The tongue has different points on it that are related to different organs, just like reflexology in your feet, just like reflexology in your hands. Your ears also are related to different parts of your body. Same thing with the tongue. So when you're activating the tongue by scraping it off, you are activating those organs so that they work better. Yay, so many reasons to scrape your tongue. So if you're watching, this is a great tongue scraper. Now, Ayurveda recommends a copper tongue scraper. I've done a little research into that. I don't love putting copper in my body. It can get right into your brain. So just a metallic one is fine. Plastic, not so good. And this shape is better, like a U shape, upside down U, because for me at least, it doesn't make me gag, whereas the little plastic ones, gag reflex initiated. So what you do is you stick out your tongue, and as far as you can go, get as far back as you can without gagging yourself, and then scrape it, rinse it off, scrape it, rinse it off, scrape it, rinse it off. 7 to 14 times is ideal. And then go ahead and drink. That's when I take my first sip of water and I feel all detoxified and ready for the day. So I highly recommend tongue scraping as a practice to feel great and not absorb toxins back into your body. All right. So our last thing is our aligned action. I used to be a teacher, and I still feel like I'm a teacher, just not with students in high school. And so there's a little bit of homework if you like. It's optional, but it'll make your life better. So I recommend it. So first of all, the yay me. I recommend doing several yay me's every day as often as you can, at least 3. At least give yourself 3 yay me's. And if there's a part of you that feels like, oh, this is dumb, then you definitely need to do yay me's, because that's just being attached to your ego. Or if there's a part of you that feels like it's too much, I couldn't do that, it's too much, definitely you still need to do yay me's. So at least 3, maybe they're fist pumps, maybe they're pats on the back, maybe they're big arms up in victory, yay me's, and they do not have to be major things. So yay me at least 3 times a day, every day before you get out of bed. You could do it sitting up, you could do it laying down, 3 times before you go to sleep. That way you're bookending your day with consciousness, conscious breath, and it will help you remember to do it in other parts of the day. And then whenever you're waiting. Make Post-it notes, put reminders on your phone that say central channel breathing to help jog your memory. And then scrape your tongue. Get yourself a tongue scraper this week and start scraping it first thing in the morning, 7 to 14 times. You will just feel so good about yourself. Literally sometimes I get out of bed so that I can scrape my tongue because I'm thirsty, but I am not drinking before I get all that stuff off. And you'll see, it is not appealing. You definitely want to rinse it off, and you don't want to be swallowing that back into your system. So get your tongue scraper and start scraping your tongue. That would be a great aligned action to take for health and digestion and vitality and immunity. So many great reasons, and fresh breath. Okay, the last thing is, I mentioned I have that Substack if you want to also keep up with my weekly articles. I love writing, and my goal is always to make myself laugh. So if I laugh when I read my article, then check, job well done. And then other people tell me they're funny too. So it's self-care wrapped up with humor and insights. So check that out. And then lastly, I have a resource for you. It's the Daily Self-Care Checklist. And it is a few more ways to put self-care into aligned action so that you're living it, not just hearing about it. The link for that is in the description of the show. It's also available on my website, ChristinaMarlette.com. All right, this has been super fun. Thank you so much for joining me. It is an honor and a pleasure to spend this time with you. I'm very grateful for your presence wherever you're listening from in the world. I'm your host, Christina Marlette. Thank you so much for listening to the Courageous Self-Care Experience. I'll be back again next week. Bye for now.
This has been the Courageous Self-Care Experience with host Christina Marlette. Tune in each week as Christina will offer up live laser coaching where her compassionate reframes help you see the bigger picture, shift your perspective, and return to inner peace, no matter what's going on. You'll leave with a weekly aligned action to get your energy flowing and your life glowing. Thursdays, 12 noon Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network, powered by B2 Studios.